Hello everyone. Wanna see how the giant McDonald's corporation makes its burgers and other stuff? And let's get it on. The process of making buns begins with dough. To make it, McDonald's uses flour, water, liquid yeast, and salt. The sponge is sent to a fermentation room for about 4 hours. After that, the dough goes down the chute and gets mixed with other ingredients. Example, sugar and salt. But don't worry, of course, buns are not the most dietary products, but they still contain less than 5% sugar. Next stage, a huge machine twists the dough, after which the conveyor shapes it into small balls. And these balls are given a light dusting of flour forced into special baking pans. Then the balls have to stay there for 55 minutes at a temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit and a humidity of 90%. So what else is left? Of course, sesame seeds. The buns are passed through a machine that applies an even coating of those, and then the buns are passed into a huge oven for 8 to 9 minutes at a temperature of 465 degrees Fahrenheit. After the buns are thoroughly baked, they are left on a special spiral cooler. Where they cool down for about 27 minutes. After that, they also have to be checked by a specialist who inspects them and only then send them for slicing and packaging. In the restaurants, employees will brown them in a special oven. Meanwhile, the process of making beef processed at McDonald's is incredibly simple. The beef arrives to the processing plant in special seal. First, the meat is checked for its freshness and bacteria. After that, lean and fat are mixed together and ground in a huge meat grinder. That way, they get 100% real beef, not the ones you can buy at any grocery store. The main secret of their beef patties is as soon as the special device gives them shape, they immediately go into a giant freezer where they stay for 24 minutes. After that, they're packed and sent to the restaurants. Just think about these figures. One such factory can produce about 3 million patties a day. In their restaurant, they're cooked in a double-sided hot plate, and so they reach an internal temperature of at least 155 degrees Fahrenheit. In order to grow a high-quality lettuce, the land on the farm is regularly checked. After harvesting, the vegetables are sent to the factories, where they are thoroughly washed and disinfected. Next, experts check the harvest freshness and throw away any damaged leaves. After that, the lettuce is sliced and chopped, depending on how it needs to be served to the restaurant. And here are the famous pickles we love so much in any burger. The basis of the Heinz ketchup recipe remains unchanged, namely tomato, sugar, salt, spices, and vinegar. Tomatoes for the ketchup are grown on special farms. That's where producers uses only selected seeds. It is important for the future sauce that the tomatoes have a large amount of pulp and a low moisture content, so that there will be no need to add starch to the product. Then, spices are added to the tomato paste, which are made from herbs, hot pepper, and vegetables. The exact recipe is a closely guarded secret. The only known ingredient is celery. After that, the resulting mass is loaded into a mixing container, and vinegar, sugar, and salt are added to it. Then the ketchup goes through a pasteurization stage, after which is put in a homogenizer, a device that grinds all the components, creating a homogeneous thick mass. After that, the ketchup must be cooled quickly. This process is necessary for the long-term storage of the product. Of course, you can't make a burger without a good slice of cheese. Check out how they make them. The path of the fish fillets to the restaurants begins in the sea. First, fish are caught with nets in large numbers. After that, they are sent to the factory to be washed and salted. They are delivered to the next factory in the form of a large fish blocks. A special machine slices each block into 150 portions, after which, moving further on the conveyor belt, they are covered with a large layer of butter. After that, the fish has to be frozen, and a huge chamber manages that in just 8 minutes. And of course, the manufacturer doesn't want to offer you a bad product, so they conduct the frying test on several portions. That helps to make sure the fish fillet has a good taste. The fries begin their journey on farms. Potatoes are grown there with an optimal number of sunny days. After harvesting, the potatoes are put into a huge potato peeler. The principle of its operation is very similar to that of a washing machine, but there is an abrasive in its service in the drum. After that, the potatoes are sent further along the belt and thoroughly washed. Then each potato passes through a series of blades. They cut them into the fries we know. It is important to note that at that moment, the potatoes can move at a speed of up to 37 miles per hour. You know that potatoes often have dark spots, right? To remove them, lasers and optical scanners are used, which automatically detect defects and remove the imperfections with a stream of compressed air. Then, the potato slices are dried on giant baking sheets. At about the same time, specialists conduct a lab quality check, after which they freeze and pack the potatoes. All is left to do then is for the potatoes to get to the restaurant, where they be deep fried in oil with a high content of oleic acid. What about Coca-Cola, which is considered to be the most popular drink of McDonald's? The beverage production process begins with a multi-system of purification. The water goes through, then a mixture of sugar syrup and concentrate is added to the purified water. The liquid then goes into a special machine where it's mixed and saturated with carbon dioxide. Then the finished drink is put into bottles and passed through a filled bottle inspection system. They check the height of the liquid and ensure the cup is placed properly. If the system defects something wrong, it simply knocks the defected bottle off the conveyor belt. Then they put labels on the bottle and another machine prints the date, time of bottling, as well as the expiration dates of the drink. The process begins with whole chicken. The employees separate the breast feet from the McNuggets. After that, the meat is sent into a blending room where it's ground up by a blender. At this stage, seasonings such as celery and black pepper are added to the mix. But those are not our favorite nuggets yet. The resulting mixtures are sent into a special forming machine, the portion that blends the chicken into 4 different shapes. Then, the shapes are covered with a light butter and a thicker butter called tempura. After that, they are half fried so that the butter stays in place. If you break the nugget in half at this stage, you will find a raw blended chicken side. The thing is, they will be fully cooked in the restaurant so that they stay fresh. So, after being half fried, the semi-cooked nuggets are frozen and packed in a special room where they wait for their shipment into a McDonald's restaurant.